All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 5 of the 700 Pelham Road podcast. My name is Caleb Williams. I'm alongside my co-host, Jalen Cooper. Jalen, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. The weather is finally starting to chill out a little bit. We're starting to hit that fall weather. You already know second summer is coming, but I'm enjoying the fall weather while we have it.
It's like a hangnail that just won't go away. That second summer in late September is just waiting.
Yep.
Man,
Sure is.
man, I walked out to go to my car tonight and it was like it felt cold for the first time all year, and in my head I'm like, it won't last. It won't last. But I'm trying to enjoy it.
Oh yeah. Whenever I notice that the AC in my apartment is not actively running, that makes me realize that it's actually a comfortable temperature outside. But yeah, we can't enjoy it too much.
No, no, we cannot. Um, so, all right. Well, I guess we might as well get into it because it was a pretty light week for us. With it being a JSU off week, we kind of got to sit back and
Pretty
enjoy.
light week for us.
We got to enjoy everyone else finally.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think I need to go get me a pair. I think I need to go get me a pair of shades real quick because that
Good boys,
Colorado State game,
good boys, are 3-0.
man. I mean, there are still people out here that don't believe. I mean, no, they're not going to go to the playoffs, but these boys are doing some things, bro.
I was a doubter when when he started stripping the roster down to like, I think he had at one point 18 scholarship players at one point because everyone was in the
Yeah,
transfer portal. And I started to
yeah,
really doubt things. And I was like, he was going to have to play walk-ons and on half of the defense just to fill the starting lineup. But no, they have come together very quickly. Now we're going to find out a lot the next two games because they got Oregon and USC back to back. So they get the two best quarterbacks in the Pac-12 back to back weeks in Bo Nix and Caleb Williams. So that'll be fun. But man, 3-0 wins over TCU and Nebraska, and then I think we all saw what happened against Colorado State. Prayers up to Travis Hunter, man. By the way,
yeah. I hope he's okay. I mean, like you said, 3-0. People were not expecting 3-0 whatsoever. And people can say whatever they want to say about it being Colorado State, but at the end of the day, it's a rivalry game. And as we have
yeah,
seen in the great state of Alabama, Auburn could be having a very crappy season, but when it comes to the Iron Bowl, they play totally different. Colorado
yeah,
State may not be well respected, but they knew going into that game they had to show up. So, like, no matter how Colorado performed, a win is a win, and they won that very heated rivalry game. Especially after things were said, and then especially after that hit. I mean, for Shadur Sanders to do that 2 minute drive from the 2 yard line, give that man the Heisman right now.
yeah. That was insane. To quote one of my favorite players on Auburn's roster, um, Shador let his nuts hang on that drive.
No, he really did. And
Um,
then I think it was Karma that number 11 laid the hit on Travis Hunter and then got shook out of his cleats.
oh yeah, he got that man was put in the spin cycle.
Yeah, he got shook out of his cleats for the game tying touchdown. And thing is, once they went into overtime, I knew it was over. Colorado wasn't losing after they pulled off that comeback drive. Wouldn't happen.
No, it's almost universal when you when you've been struggling all game and you find a way to tie the game at the end and it goes to overtime, there's no way that you're not going to win. I feel like it's like clockwork.
Oh yeah, always happens, always. But I mean, hey, that game in general just goes to show, what Dion means to the game of college football. He had dudes on the East Coast up until 2:30 in the morning. 2:30 in the morning for a Colorado football game. That would have been unheard of last season.
Yeah, I mean, these dudes were 1-11 last year. Were truly probably the worst football team at the FBS level. I don't think it was that close because Pac-12 was a pretty bad conference last year, and they went 1-11. So to see them 3-0 now, I feel like one of my phones is going off. To see them going 3-0, and yeah, they play a close game against Colorado State, but you know what? Rivalry games are close. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
And not just to go 3-0, but to you win a game where your potentially your best player goes out with an injury that'll probably keep him out close to a month. We're all Colorado fans now. I think we're wanting to see. We all want to see him go 12-0 at this point. Why? It would be good for college football if they did.
Oh yeah, 100%. I feel like that's the feel-good story of the season. Even if they make it to a bowl game and win, which I think at this point is almost a foregone conclusion. Picking up 3 more wins for that squad shouldn't be a problem. Which at that point, I think it's a win for Dion. Some people are going to be unrealistic and expect them to be in the playoff talk. I don't think it's going to happen, especially because they do have Oregon and USC back-to-back. But, just for them to get to a bowl game as a win, I think they can win a bowl game going up against pretty much anybody they end up facing. But, yeah, I think already, based on the initial Vegas odds, this is a win because they had they had Colorado at 2.7 wins for, the over-under season total. And, they're already sitting at 3. So anybody who bet the under, I'm glad you're losing your money. You deserve it. You didn't believe. But yeah, the Pac-12, insane. I feel like, I was telling our group chat the other day, college football is in purgatory because the Pac-12 is going out, but they're the best conference seemingly from top to bottom. And then, the most storied conference, or one of the most storied conferences, the SEC, struggling. You look at Bama struggled, limped past USF 17-3. UGA, it took them a hot second to get going against South Carolina. Tennessee, we saw what happened there. Texas A&M is looking like one of the bright spots of the SEC right now. LSU is back and forth, but they're looking strong. The SEC is not at all what they usually are, and like I said, we got the Pac-12 over there looking almost unbeatable. It's a crazy year for college football.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm looking at the rest of Colorado's schedule. They've got number 10 Oregon, number 5 USC. They then get Arizona State and Stanford, who are both unranked. But then they get number 22 UCLA, number 14 Oregon State, unranked Arizona, number 21 Washington State, number 11 Utah. 6 of their last 9 teams are ranked. 4 of them are in the top 15.
The Pac-12 is on something this year. I'm telling you. And the funny thing is it's about to – that conference is about to cease to exist. But they're dominating right now. That's the funny thing. If they had competent management for that conference, this year would have been the perfect year to, strong arm a TV deal. But, they fell apart. They didn't know what they're doing. And now they're going to seemingly go out on top, which, it's a double-edged sword.
Wouldn't it be something if the Pac-12 won the Natty and then just wasn't even a conference next year?
Yeah, I I've thought about that a few times. Like if they legitimately do go out on top, and then they probably won't exist next year. I know the two teams left are trying to hold on, but if they go out on top and then cease to exist next year, that would be something.
It sure would, man. Here's what's crazy. You look at Colorado's schedule; they don't even play Washington, who has looked unstoppable the first 3 weeks of the year.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Colorado is going to win the Pac-12 South, but if they do, and let's say Washington wins Pac-12 North, and we get Colorado with Shedeur Sanders versus Washington with Michael Penix Jr. for the Pac-12 title game.
That would be a showdown.
That's over under 1,000 passing yards combined.
Oh, 100%. That's over under of like 100 points scored. That's a shootout.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, the Power 5, which is probably going to end up being the Power 4, it's very unpredictable this year. The G5 is kind of, shaking out like it does. The Sun Belt is looking like, the conference that's probably going to get that G5, the highest G5 spot, which honestly at this point might go to James Madison. Those boys last year they proved everybody wrong, and it looks like they're continuing the hype. I think right now they're undefeated, one of like 13 or 15 teams in the nation still left undefeated. Those boys are on something. That win over Troy was a little feisty. I'm sure a lot of people have seen the videos of the reaction and the taunting of the crowd after the game, but those boys are doing it. And I mean, let's see, who do they play next week? They have Utah State next week, so they're going to be 4-0. I mean, that they could very well go on to win the Sun Belt and get that highest G5 spot because they have Utah State, they have South Alabama, which, as we just saw this weekend, they're not anybody to mess around with. They got Georgia Southern, which on any given day could beat you. That's a pretty good game. They got Marshall. I mean, they got some games to get through. They got Marshall, Old Dominions. Georgia State's one of those you can't ever look past them. They got UConn, which that's at this point that's an automatic dub.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got Appy State and Coastal to finish it out. So they got a tough schedule ahead. But I mean, the way these boys are playing, especially after the way they played last year, I could easily see them walking away with a top G5 spot. I mean, we can also look within our own conference. I could see either Liberty or Western Kentucky walking away with one of them. Liberty's still undefeated. Western Kentucky, I think, just took their first loss against Ohio State last week. Prayers to our Western Kentucky friends. They were all ready for that game, and it was close at the beginning, and then, as they always say, talent and depth went out. It's a hard knock life for us G5 schools.
It is. Yeah, I feel bad for Western Kentucky because Ohio State the first 2 weeks scored less points combined than they did in that one game against Western. And them boys woke up against Western Kentucky. I'll tell you who was an underrated. Let's see here. I'll tell you who's an underrated pick for that highest ranked G5 spot right now. Fresno State. They are the highest in terms of votes received for the AP Top 25. They're number one amongst G5 teams. That's not who I would have expected. Because they have an overtime win against Eastern Washington, which probably doesn't look too good, but they're number one in the AP poll for G5 teams getting votes. All right, let's see what else we got.
If we look at just looking at the results from last week with our Conference USA mates, Liberty came away with a win against Buffalo. It wasn't really close there. FIU slid past UConn. That's not necessarily a quality win, but it's a win nonetheless. They got past UConn. We already mentioned Western Kentucky. La Tech lost a very close one to North Texas. They lost on a 31-yard field goal to end the game at the buzzer, 40-37. Those are always the worst, where you're just hanging around and then you just lose at the last second, literally. MTSU got past Murray State, 35-14. That's a good little in-state game. And then New Mexico State got past New Mexico, another in-state game, 27-17. And then UTEP fell to Arizona 31-10. So all in all, CUSA was above 500. Definitely wish we could have come away with a couple more wins. That Ohio State win would have been amazing, for Western Kentucky, but the conference as a whole. But hey, we can make up for it. We can get the big win for our conference later on this season.
Yeah, no doubt. And looking at the conference standings, JSU is tied for the lead. Us, Louisiana Tech, and Liberty are all 1-0 in conference play.
Yep.
So we keep things going. Look, that Liberty game is looming large as the first, as game number 2 in the conference slate.
Yep.
Well, actually, no, that's a lie. Sam Houston is our second game in conference play, I think.
Yeah, technically.
We go on the road to go to Sam Houston, but then come back for Liberty. But look, Sam Houston's 0-2 to start the season. I don't know who they've played, but
I think they've played a couple of big hitters. Let me see. Yeah, they played BYU and Air Force. So,
okay. No, never mind.
Not surprised. Let's see. They play Houston this week. So, yeah, they got 3 really big games to start off the season. So, I think they will probably be a little pissed off by the time we get around to them. So, we better be ready.
Yeah. But hey, we beat Sam Houston. We get to that Liberty game. That Liberty game is to take control of the conference.
Oh, yeah. As long as if we can manage to get past Eastern Michigan and then get past Sam Houston, there will be a lot riding on that Liberty game. And guess what? It's in Jacksonville. So that very much helps us out. We will take whatever advantages we can get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no kidding. And Liberty, they've looked. It's not just their record. They have looked for real these first 2 weeks. They've run the ball. They have thrown the ball. They've played defense. They've done everything you need to do to win football games. So like you said, it's a good thing that it's a home game. And honestly, it's a good thing that it's a weeknight game because the students will have an excuse to not show up. So we should have a good crowd. But man, you've got to give credit. The conference has actually not been bad to start. We have only 3 teams have a losing record, and that's MTSU, Sam Houston, and UTEP. And they've combined played a lot of really good football teams. So,
yeah,
you can't fault them too much.
Yeah, no, I think considering who our conference's out-of-conference opponents have been, obviously you always hope for, above 500. But as far as out-of-conference, we've, as a whole, been playing a lot of really, really big hitters. So, you can't always win every game. So, you take what you can get. We still got some more out-of-conference games. Most of us are playing out of conference this week, so we can rack up a couple more wins. I think all of us are playing out of conference except for Liberty and FIU. So yeah, we have a chance to rack up some more wins this week before we head into the thick of the conference schedule.
Yeah. Well, I guess we better get into it. I guess start talking about this game we got on Saturday.
Yep. We got lovely Eastern Michigan.
A team that I thought would I thought they'd be a little bit better this year, but looking at their schedule, they started off against Howard. They only won 33-23, and then they went to Minnesota and ran off the field, and then they played UMass, and I don't know how they scored 19 points, but they won 19-17.
Yeah. And not only did they win 33-23 over Howard was down 30-9 at the half and then came out and scored 14 unanswered points. So it very well could have gotten away and ended up being a tie game late, but Howard wasn't able to score anything in the fourth quarter. So, props to Eastern Michigan there for, kind of cutting off the damage a little bit. But like you said, they went to Minnesota, which is a pretty solid team. Not somebody you want to write home to, but Minnesota's a solid team. They only managed to get 6 points there. And then, like you said, you play UMass, you're expecting to put up some points, and they only came away with 19 points. I think, let's see. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they only managed to score 19, but I don't know. It's one of those where this game it should be a little bit easier for us. According to the ESPN matchup predictor, we have a 73% chance to win. The line for us is we have a 6-point favorite, and they got the over/under at 51 points. So not a super high scoring game. It looks like they're predicting, but they're predicting that we should take it with ease.
Yeah, and looking at the box score for this game they played against UMass, UMass had 8 more first downs. They had 80 more yards of offense. They punted 3 less times. And they won the time of possession. They converted more third downs and fourth downs. Gave up less sacks. So the math really doesn't add up as to how Eastern Michigan even won this game. But sure enough, they won. Yeah, this could be look, I'm just looking at the numbers. Eastern Michigan gave up 340 passing yards to UMass, who, by the way, went to Auburn in week 1 and looked like a Division III team. I'm no mathematician, but if Logan Smothers gets the start on Saturday, he could have a pretty big game.
That's the biggest thing for us going into this game is our offense hasn't necessarily looked explosive so far this season, but we also haven't nailed down who the quarterback is, or at least not until recently. I'm hoping we go into this game with Logan at quarterback, just starting it, just give him the ball, let him go. We haven't looked super explosive. Kind of looking at the team stats for both teams, it's pretty comparable. We're a little bit better in most, in some of the stats. I'm not going to say most, but we're averaging looks like 28 points a game. They're averaging around 19 to 20 points a game. So that's where, the line comes in at 6. And I don't know. It's one of those where I need us to go in with a game plan from the beginning. No, this might be our quarterback. This might not be. Um, I'm hoping Anwar is back this week. I don't know what's wrong with him and if that's even a possibility. But I'm hoping he's back so he can get his legs up under him before we hit conference play. And I just think that's another weapon we can add. Because I would love to see some 3-back sets, with Logan and any two of the 3 running backs behind the line, because that will confuse some defenses and set us up with some great opportunities.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the looking on Twitter. It says that Rich Rod said that he was going to figure out the QB situation before the bye week. So, honey, I don't need this, but thank you.
Hopefully he got it figured out then, and we'll find out here soon.
Yeah, and I still don't see anything on Anwar, which is a little annoying. Because it's like there's no news on him even existing.
I mean, I know, at least I think he's still on the roster. Let me check to make sure which means he would still be part of the team. But yeah, I definitely would love to find out some more information about, which it's not always our business, but I would love to just be able to know some more about what's going on.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, it's going to sound like a broken record until it gets figured out when it comes to quarterback battle. But on Twitter, Nebraska fans are begging for Logan Smothers to come back.
I mean, yeah, Nebraska's looking rough. And here's the thing. If they are begging for him to come back and he pretty much knows he could walk right back into it, I will say with him already having transferred, it would be a little bit different. He would have to sit a year unless he was able to claim some sort of medical or, serious personal reason for going back. But yeah, if Nebraska fans are begging him to come back, we have to realize what we have, and we have to make sure we don't, spoil this chance to be really great and to do something really great with a quarterback like him. We have wasted chances with talent before, namely Trey Berry and, a few others, because they just weren't feeling like they were being used to, what they knew their abilities were. And we don't want to lose that, especially not in a quarterback. So I'm hoping we get to that point to where, not necessarily hoping we get to that point, but he deserves the spot. I'm hoping the coaches see that and they just turn the reins over. And like I said, if he doesn't fully know the playbook, I'm fine with a couple of growing pains. We're playing with house money this year. We can't really do anything. There are XYZ situations where we could possibly play in a bowl game, but I'm not even worried about that. I just want us to focus on development and growth and progress. So, if he has a few growing pains throughout the season while he's trying to figure stuff out, let him do it. I would much rather see that than, the broken record of what we've been seeing the past 3 seasons. Because eventually, like I said, fans will get tired of it, support will drop, and that's the last thing you want, in your FBS transition period, to lose the support of fans.
Yeah, no doubt. We'll find out this week. And look, if Zion comes out and and looks like the Zion that he looked like pre-injury, great. But I just don't have much faith in it. We've seen three games? Yeah, 3 games now. And the one game that Logan played, he moved the ball down the field. He moved the chains. He only missed 3 passes out of 17. It's not bad. That's all you need to do in this offense. And against a team that let UMass, with a quarterback who's transferred from both Clemson and Georgia Tech, already throw for 350 yards. We've got to be able to take advantage of a secondary that's that bad.
Oh, especially when we have Sterling Galban, Sean Brown, Michael Petway. We got to be able to use these receivers to go out there and, get those yards. And love Zion to death, but all we've seen so far when he plays is overthrow. And it just gets to a point to where it's like, we saw some others come in for that game. And like you said, he did everything. It may not have been anything flashy. He may not have had, 250, 350 yards of that game, but he made the plays that needed to be made. He hit the receivers, He had a couple of missed throws, but, nobody's perfect. But to go from that and then to get the whiplash of going right back to Zion next game and kind of seeing the same things we have seen, had a lot of fans questioning why. Like you said, after you see Logan go in and handle business and then we go back to what we have seen, it had a lot of fans just like, why do we keep going back to this? Like, again, as we have said, it's almost like beating a dead horse. Respect the hell out of Zion for sticking around, giving this university, his all. He has never been one to back down from the call. Dude will go out there and play hurt if he has to. But sometimes you're just not the best option. And I think a lot of people right now are feeling like he just isn't the best option right now.
Yeah, I mean, here's the tricky part is, Logan started against Eastern Tennessee State, and Zion has started against, UTEP and Coastal. So, he's faced more difficult teams this year, but at the same time, neither team is so good that you don't see what Zion's made of. It's not like he's facing Georgia or Ohio State or Florida State, right? Or even Oregon, right? Who I think may have the best defense in the country this year. It was UTEP and Coastal Carolina. If Zion had what it took to be a starter at the FBS level, we'd see it already. So hopefully, I don't want to get too into it because we have gotten into it over and over again just because it keeps coming up. Hopefully we'll see either Zion play out of his mind on Saturday, or we'll see Logan get the start and really get things going.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see Zion go out there and prove me wrong. 100%. I would love to see him go out there and just tear it up, absolutely obliterate the other team. But also, if Logan gets the start, I'm gonna be 100% behind him too. At the end of the day, I'm going to be 100% behind whoever has, the starting quarterback spot. I just need to see whoever it is take advantage of it and just go. It's one of those where, in Zion's case, this is his last year. You just kind of have to put the pedal to the metal and, absolutely destroy the competition every chance you get. And in Logan's case, you're playing for next year. It's not guaranteed, especially with, Tayshaun sitting in the quarterback room and, some of our other, guys sitting in are people that might transfer in. You're playing for next year. If you get the start, you want to go out there and prove to Rich Rod and the quarterback coach and the offensive room, why you are the guy until somebody else says so, next summer, because he'll still be around, pending a transfer. So in his case, you go in there, you go out there and show them, hey, look, I'm number one when we get to spring ball. I don't want to hear any more competition talk next year. I am number one, and you're gonna have to take it from me. So either one of those guys, whoever gets it, they need to go out there and just absolutely tear up the other team and don't let off the gas. Just balls to the wall, absolutely destroy them, take their soul, take their heart, take their dignity. I don't care. I don't care about sportsmanship. I don't care if it's the fourth quarter and we're up by 35. Go out there and play like it's 0-0 and, 15 minutes on the clock in the first quarter every drive.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, sometimes you just got to drop your nuts and go out there and play. And right now, we ain't had that from the QB room in what, 6 years? So
it's been a hot second. And I think that's something that has always plagued JSU, just in general. We like to play up to or down to the level of our opponent. I need a quarterback that will walk out there on that field and just say, I don't care who's on the other side of the ball. It can be Alabama, Auburn, UGA, or it can be Liberty, Western Kentucky, Sam Houston, or it could be, some FCS school. It could be Eastern Tennessee or, UNA, whatever. I want the quarterback to walk out there and have the same mindset, no matter what tier or level of competition it is, and just absolutely like the only goal is to absolutely decimate the opponent, and, not leave any doubt that, you went out there, gave it your all, and absolutely killed it. Because at the end of the day, that's all. If you go out there and give it your all, your absolute best, and we still lose, then, sometimes you just have to take it. You have to take it on the chin and, keep it moving. But if we go out there, lose by 10, 13, 14, and then you look back and you say, well, we could have, done a little bit better here. We could have put in more effort here. We were only playing 70%. We could have played 110%. Then, those are regrets that were easily fixable in the beginning and not something you want to be looking at afterwards. It's just one of those, you got to get into that mindset. Like I said, no matter who's on the other side of that ball, we shouldn't play down to the competition. We shouldn't play up to the competition. We should just be Jax State. Go out there, be Jax State. That way when, teams walk into the stadium or we walk into their stadium, they should just know, hey, we can't mess around with these guys. Like going back to when we played Auburn in 2015, every team after that knew, like, we can't play around with these guys. They are going to play their game and do what they're going to do. When we beat Florida State, the next season after that, people were like, yo, these dudes were hanging around. Even though we went on the Hail Mary, it was like these dudes were hanging around and gave themselves that opportunity in the first place. We need to bring that back. We need to get that 2015, 2016 edge back to where teams are afraid to play us.
Yeah, no question. You mentioned it. You don't want to have that regret of effort being why you lost a game. You always want it to be skill, because you can fix skill with recruiting. You can coach, certain things when it comes to execution. You can't coach effort. You're either a dog or you're not a dog. And one thing with JSU under Rich Rod, it ain't been effort. These guys are going. We saw against Coastal, it was all simply talent, because we grinded 60 minutes, and it just came down to Coastal's a better team.
Yeah,
they were a better football team from start to finish. Are you having fun playing your game? Okay. Oh, jeez.
Oh, laptop fell over.
I think we're going to edit that part out.
But yeah, it really just, as long as we come out there with the effort, I think we can easily beat Eastern Michigan. The line says 6. I'm thinking we could win 35-14, if not more, if we come out and do what we got to do. Like I could easily see us putting up 5 touchdowns. I honestly think with the way the Rich Rod offense runs, we should be putting up a touchdown every quarter at minimum.
Yeah, no question. I mean, we saw the tempo last week, and we weren't even really throwing the ball well, but we ran the ball so well that we could go fast. So against a team like this, where now those quick passes, where you get the ball to the perimeter, we could look. This is ambitious. We could run 85 plays, not even 9 plays. I mean, because Eastern Michigan, I watched some of their highlights, I think yesterday, and UMass used a lot of tempo against them. They weren't going, 2009 Oregon fast where you blink and you miss a play, but they were using a lot of tempo, and Eastern Michigan couldn't handle it. And against Rich Rod, where he wants to go really fast and run a lot of plays, that's right in our hands where we could push tempo, run through the tackles, and if the quarterback play is good, air it out over the top. Like you said, I think we could put up 28, 35, maybe even crack 40, and really give ourselves a statement win going into that first big road. Well, I mean that first conference road test against Sam Houston.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is we had to come away with 7 and not 3. We're really good about starting off a drive and getting hot, but it's the end of the drives. If we can come up with 7 and not 3, I think that would be huge. Because like right now we're sitting, most of the group of 5, pages and channels and stuff, they have us right in the middle of the CUSA rankings. I honestly think we could be a little bit higher, but as of right now, we're not going to be because we have so many drives that we start off really well. We're chugging it down the field, and then we only come away with 3 points. We have to come up with 7. We have to, like you said, make this a statement win. Leave no doubt on the field that, we were the better team. Because if we struggle against Eastern Michigan, we're going to lose a lot of respect and a lot of rep. That's one of those things that's arbitrary. Some people value it more than others. But, in our first season in the conference, you kind of want to, make sure these guys respect you, especially going forward when we are able to, win the conference and go to bowl games. You want that respect. You want everybody to, like I said, just know that Jax State is not anybody to mess around with. So that's the key. We got to put up 7 and not 3. I'm tired of. I love AK-47, but I'm tired of seeing him on the field, to score 3 and not to, add a point on.
Yeah, you notice, the one game where we scored well in the red zone was when we had a competent passing attack. And that's because when you get in the red zone, it becomes hard to run the football. Teams are going to stack the box and force you to make throws into a condensed field where instead of having 40, 50 yards, you've got 10 or 15 yards, and you've got to make a good throw. And so they're willing to stack the box and play man across the board because you don't have a lot of room to run routes. And so they don't have to help over the top. They can put a safety down to stop the run. But and I don't want to just say it was Zion's fault, but you noticed that Logan, when he threw in the red zone, he was putting it on the numbers, and so it forces teams to drop that safety back out into coverage. Coastal didn't have to do that, and so when we'd go from 20 from our 25 to their 30, and then all of a sudden it's like we go brain dead for 3 downs, and all of a sudden we're kicking a field goal, and it's just because teams stack the box when you get into plus territory because they want to force you to make a throw to score. If we do that, if we score well in the red zone, if we're forcing teams to not put 7 or 8 guys in the box, look out. We could score 40 points, 40, 50 points even this week, and maybe instead of Sam Houston being mad, after facing Colorado State, maybe they'll be scared because they're thinking about the fact they have to face us.
I want to hang some points on their head so bad. Oh, I know that's looking ahead 2 weeks, but I want to absolutely obliterate Sam Houston State. It's not even funny. obviously, the last time we played them, we came away with a pretty big win. I want to keep
Yeah,
it that way.
it was
It was an okay win, but yeah,
oh, we
no,
won
I
like 62-7.
something like that. But yeah, no, it's one of those where this needs to be a statement win going into conference play, um, especially because we'll be playing on a short week. Sam Houston will also be playing on a short week because I think it's a Saturday to Thursday turnaround because we start the midweek games. Um, but yeah, we definitely need to go in. Like I said, leave no doubt. Um, and as good as Karajic is, he's pretty much automatic whenever they send him out. You don't want to rely on him. And I think that's probably been a little bit, of a cause of some of our woes is, just knowing, hey, even if we don't pick up this first down and keep the drive going, I know for sure we'll get 3. It's one of those where you got to shut that out of your brain. That's an
Yeah.
absolute last resort. We'll take 3 if we absolutely have to, but we want that touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
We want to run them off the field, make them cry, make them question our sportsmanship. Hey, I want to pull a Portland State. Let's put 90 on their heads.
I want Twitter blowing up about how we are the ones that aren't nice to people.
Hey, we have the support of Pat McAfee. We got to make that man proud.
I say we've got the rowdiest analyst in football on our side. We got to take advantage of it.
We got to, because man, I don't know how we keep getting these shout outs on College Game Day and just on the Pat McAfee show in general, but I'm loving it.
It's the so I didn't realize it until I think week 2. Pat McAfee's first year at West Virginia was Rich Rod's last year at West Virginia. That was his college coach.
That man loves him some Rich Rod then.
Yeah, Rich Rod recruited him out of high school.
We definitely got to make that man proud then, because if he's going to keep giving us the shout outs and sticking his neck out for us, can't embarrass that man. He's too great.
No, he's a legend already.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't really have anything else to talk about.
No, neither do I. I mean, it's pretty simple. Let's beat the hell out of Eastern Michigan and then go to Texas.
Long drive out to Texas. Well, for them, flight. That'll be a fairly quick flight. But for any JSU fans coming from Jacksonville or anywhere in Alabama, that's a pretty good drive.
Yeah, I won't be going out there.
No.
I will eventually. That'll be a trip. I want to go to all the Conference USA stadiums at some point while we're still in the conference. Obviously, if we switch conferences, that'll change things. But we're kind of a conference hopper right now. So,
well, not right now, at least, because I don't think we got the bankroll to pay ourselves out of this grant of rights deal.
No, we don't. Which probably is a good thing, because we're going to have a few years to make that money back after leaving the ASUN. But no, I hope to get out to Sam Houston. But it'll be a fun one to watch. It'll be the first weekday game.
Yep.
Of the season. It'll be the first of, I think, 5.
Yep, it's a Thursday night game. I know this weekend it is a home game for all of you Gamecock fans that are able to make it out. 4:00 Central Time kickoff. So it'll be somewhat of a night game. It's an afternoon game that will inevitably turn into a night game with all the commercial breaks. But yeah, and then the Sam Houston is truly a night game, Thursday the 28th at 7 p.m. So yeah, we get a couple of actual true night games, and let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we have 5 weeks of midweek games. The last week in September and all 4 weeks in October.
I love it. We're gonna have football on for 7 days for a month.
Oh yeah. Football every single day. You will be happy, just happy as can be.
Best month of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I won't be there this Saturday. I will be in Nashville for birthday festivities. My birthday is on Thursday, so yeah, I'll be in Nashville for the weekend, having fun.
Oh,
Hey, don't even, don't do me like that.
I'm older than you. I can't say anything.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, I won't be there this weekend. But to anybody who is going, as always, whether you are a alumni, a local, or a fan of the opposing team, go check out all the local lunch and dinner spots. There are plenty to choose from.
Go to Apothecary.
Yep, hit up Apothecary. My man Josh is one of the chillest guys around. Has a great selection of local craft beers. Also has some wine. And even if you don't like beer, there's something you will like. He has ciders, sours, all the way on down the stouts. There is a lot to choose from. I think there's 30 taps. Go check that man out. Give him your money. He is an amazing dude. It's a great environment.
And they got food trucks.
Yeah, food trucks will be out back. And also, there are a couple of local spots that are right around the area that will deliver. Or you can go pick something up, go get you some ribs from Cooter Brown's, and then go sit in there.
Man.
Hey, you can watch the JSU game in there. That if you want to, if you don't want to go to the stadium, the tap wall is 50% off for 5 minutes after JSU scores a touchdown, and then if they win, the tap wall is 10% off after a win. So
until they close.
Yeah, until they close, which is like midnight. So definitely hit it up. If you're going to go after the game, get there early because that place fills up. It's an amazing atmosphere.
Yeah.
So definitely check that out. Like I said, if you don't want to go to the game, make sure you're hydrated and make sure you eat because after every JSU touchdown, tap wall is 50% off for 5 minutes. And as we saw in the Eastern Tennessee game, there may be 2 touchdowns within 5 minutes. So one of our friends was there for that game, and he can tell you it prepare yourself.
Yeah, that's one of those where you're going to get 2 glasses for every touchdown, and you're just stocking them up.
Oh yeah. So yeah, no, definitely check out Apothecary. If you ever need any game day swag, Get Personalized is one of the places to go. I know all of us in the Marching Southerners know that store like the back of our hand. They have done pretty much everything Marching Southerners for decades now. They're really great people. They got a lot of cool stuff in there, from polos to regular T-shirts, jackets, decal stickers, you name it. They got it in there. They're always open on game day until I think an hour before kickoff or something like that. Go check them out if you need some game day swag. And like I said, eat local. You got Cooter Browns, you got the Rocket, you got Heirloom. There's a lot to choose from. Can't go wrong.
Go to Mongo's.
Yeah, there's Mongo's, Jefferson's. If you got time to wait, there's Coupe de Ville, but that is the most popular spot in Jacksonville. So you're going to be waiting for a little bit.
Yeah, post game Coupe, you might be waiting an hour to get 12 wings, but they'll be worth it.
If you want Coupe post game, put in the call halfway through the fourth quarter. Put in the call halfway through the fourth quarter. You're thinking, hey, that's too early. I don't want my food getting cold. It's not going to be. It's going to be ready as soon as you walk out of that stadium. I'm telling you, it's not going to be ready a minute earlier.
And they're going to be the best wings you've ever had, too.
Oh, some of the best wings, bro. I mean, there's a reason why that line wraps out, down the road. And I used to live in the house right next door. We would have people parking on the side of our house, waiting to go get their Coupe. It's crazy. People will do some things for some Coupe, bro.
Hey, man, I'll do something for some Coupe. So.
No, I feel you. I haven't had in a while. I may have to get me some next time I head into Jacksonville. But, I mean, yeah.
But yeah, if you're coming, enjoy the town. It's homecoming. So enjoy the homecoming festivities. We'll have a parade. that morning around like 10 o'clock. Have plenty of stuff to do. Lots of tailgating because all the old alumni people will be there. Which means there's probably also going to be a lot of food that they're handing out too. So it's going to be a great atmosphere. And that also means that we're getting one of our first full crowds for the Southerners post game.
Oh, yeah. It's the full show too.
And my fiance is sitting right here. She's telling me that this week is the debut of the full show potentially.
Oh, nice. Yeah, for all of you that don't know, the Marching Southerners are one of the best. I say the best college marching band, but for all intents and purposes, one of the best college marching bands around. Definitely stick around with it being homecoming. They will perform the full show post game. So don't leave if you're going to the game. Don't leave early. If you're a Jacksonville State alumni or fan, you already know you don't leave early if the Southerners are performing post game, especially if it's the first full show. You're going to be amazed. You're going to get goosebumps. They're going to blow your face off. So definitely stick around, especially if you're an opposing fan. Go walk over to the home side. You're not going to want to miss it. That's the Southerners performing is one of those things. Whenever we have gone to away games, no matter what the result is, the fans always come up to us afterwards. Oh my gosh, y'all were so good. Never heard anything like that. I mean, we've gotten standing ovations at all of the SEC stadiums we've gone to. I know in 2015 when we played North Dakota State, those fans couldn't stop talking about us afterwards. So yeah, definitely stick around for Southerners. Hopefully it'll be an icing on the cake of a great win.
Hopefully. And if you're in town early, Southerners actually have their Southerners showcase Thursday night at 7 at the stadium. So come early, hear the show, get up close with the Southerners, get ready to enjoy a really good weekend. Yep.
Should be a great weekend all around. And then we'll be back here next week recapping it for you and getting ready for the Sam Houston week, getting ready for, heading back into conference.
Yeah. Just a warning, if you see me with a drink next week, that means that we lost.
Oh, God. I may have to blur my face out if we lost, get a voice changer.
Yeah, you're going to have to put me in witness protection because it won't be pretty.
Yeah, no. Let's not even put that in. Let's not put that out there because I don't want to
win. We're going to win by 5 touchdowns. I'm speaking it into existence. I'm manifesting it now.
We're winning big.
So
that's all from me, though.
That's all from me. I think I'm good.
Well, that was it. This is the end of episode 5 of the 700 Pelham Road podcast. As always, if you have any feedback or suggestions, feel free to DM us either on the SSN or the Sidelines Jax State page, or we have our 700 Pelham Road podcast Twitter page now. Make sure to give us a follow there. And like I said, any feedback or suggestions, or if you're somebody who would like to make a guest appearance on a future episode, let us know. We'll make sure, we get that going. Like I said, I know heading into conference play, we got a couple of fellow conference mate podcasts that want to, trade episodes. So hopefully you'll be seeing some new faces there. But yeah, other than that, y'all have a good night, good day, whatever time of day you're watching this, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Signing off.